You're listening to Gamers in Hot Tubs Talking Nerd Life, conversational podcasts about the positive impact video games have had on our lives. Recorded off stream, this is episode 10, with special guest MistereeGirl, covering topics such as online games, extra life, and goals as a gamer. If you'd like to support the podcast or be a guest on an upcoming episode, please be sure to like, subscribe, leave a review, and visit our Beacons page at beacons.ai/hottubgamers. You can follow both of us on Kick at Bad Wolf Rose and Plaid Baron, respectively. Without further ado, here's episode 10. Welcome back, everybody, to Gamers in Hot Tubs Talking Nerd Life. This is episode 10. I am your co-host, Danny, aka Plaid Baron.
And I am Kaylee, aka Bad Wolf Rose or Rose.
And our guest this week is a very good friend of mine, MistereeGirl from Twitch.
Hey, how y'all doing?
How you doing?
I'm nervous.
How you doing?
Well, so a little bit of context. We have been having technical difficulties on getting this thing up and rolling for like the last 2 hours or so.
Yeah,
and so we decided that we were just going to record offline, off stream, and we're just going to chill for a few and have a nice conversation about games and mental health and everything that we do on this podcast. Now, Krista, you and I go back. Do you prefer Krista or Mystery?
Doesn't matter.
What should we call you here?
Potato.
Doesn't matter?
Tomato.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you and I go back a better part of a decade at this point.
That is true.
So what's interesting is that we did not meet through games, though.
No.
Oh.
We met through an alumni event for school, I believe.
Yes. Yeah, we met through an alumni event through school, and then we sort of started our own sort of sub-alumni group from that, that we then made many good friends from as well.
Yes, I would agree with that.
And then the gaming sort of sprung off of that.
It sure did. Yeah.
Now, our gaming history together includes mostly Jackbox and Wizard 101.
Yes. Wizard 101.
I know. I was just thinking about that the other day. I'm like, wait, we used to play Wizard 101 all the time, and we were like goddamn adults playing this game.
But it's such a cute game. Like, I remember playing that game as a kid, and it's funny because, like, I think it was like a week or two ago, I also thought about it, and I was like, I wonder if Wizard 101 is still a thing, like, if it's still around. And so I looked them up, and sure as heck, wait, I can swear on this, right? I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, sure as shit, it's actually still, like, around and viable. I'm like, holy crap! Who would have thought that this is still going on, like, 20, 30 years later? It's pretty awesome. It's pretty good
And it's on
game.
Steam now.
Yeah, what? It's on Steam?
Yeah, it is.
I
99% sure.
I remember
Yep.
downloading the native file to my parents' computer back when I was a kid, and that thing took forever. I mean, we had dial-up modem, and then it went to DSL, and then it went to, like, fiber optic or whatever, but, like, that took so long to download, and now today it's just, like, for smaller games, not bigger games, it goes by fairly quickly, but I digress. But it's such a cute game. I miss that game.
You know, me being obsessed with Sea of Thieves, I'm surprised I've never tried Pirate 101.
I have not tried it either, I must admit. I tried
I'm not
Sea of
seeing much
Thieves.
ocean in it, though.
Yeah, I haven't either.
I gotta get you more into Sea of Thieves now that they have the Safer Seas mode, so you can actually get introduced to the game properly.
Yeah, I was very overwhelmed when I first tried it. I was confused. And
Getting players started in Sea of Thieves is impossible. Like, starting out is just... I've refused to train people up because it's like, there's just too much. You go figure it out and then talk to me when you're ready. But now that there's Safer Seas, I'm like, okay, since nobody's going to interrupt us, maybe, now we can go sailing and have a
Right.
grand old time with it. Takes the pressure off.
yeah, I would agree.
So, like, the big question, though, or like the first question, I should say, the first question is, how have games left an impact on you, and how do they influence what you do today?
Wow, that's a bit of a loaded question to some degree. And I'm probably going to have you repeat it like once or twice so I can fully answer it, but I'll do my best. How have games impacted me? I mean, honestly, I have to say that gaming is a positive thing for me. It's a way of me being able to kind of decompress from, the typical work day or the typical work week. And when life gets really hard and busy, it's just kind of like I can log in, I can hang out with people who are also trying to do the same thing that I'm doing, relaxing, decompressing, having fun, playing together with other individuals, which, offers another level of community, I guess, in a positive way. And don't get me wrong, there are certainly some individuals as well out there that can certainly ruin a gaming community, but I have to say that I have fortunately been pretty blessed in that regard to find quite a few communities that are, positive people who won't judge you for how you're playing a game or if you're learning a game, how to play it, what are the best ways to play it, and leveling up and all this other stuff. So, I mean, for me, it's also one of the times that I can zone out, and I struggle with ADHD quite a bit. And it's one of those things that just is able to keep my attention, even though in game I'm typically like on a horse or a mount or something like that, jumping around and running around the group I'm in. But or running around, like a chicken with my head cut off in the open world. But I enjoy it. It's one of my favorite things to do as like a hobby, and I'm also blessed that my husband is also a gamer and enjoys, video gaming as well, so we both just kind of sometimes go off into separate rooms and just play games for a couple of hours, and then we come back and reconvene, and we're a lot more personable, I guess. We're less fragmented.
It's a good way to blow off some steam.
I'm sorry?
It's a good way to blow off some steam.
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%. I love it. I love gaming.
So your primary game is Elder Scrolls Online, correct?
Correct. I do play ESO. I'm on a core team, which is basically it's a 12-person raid that we run every Friday from 7 to 9 Eastern, and we run specific content to obtain specific achievements. So right now we're going for what's called a Perfecta run, where you do a speed run, so it's underneath a specific time, no death, and on hard mode. But yeah, ESO is my primary game. I'm also involved a lot right now in Baldur's Gate 3 with another group of people. And
I still need to pick that up.
It's so good. It is so good. I'm obsessed.
I'm kind of half tempted to finally play through Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 first, though. Mm-hmm. I bought Baldur's Gate 2 way back in the day and was immediately intimidated by the manual it came with and sold it to my friend across the street. I was like, I have no idea what's going on here. Please take this away from me.
Yeah, I think Baldur's Gate is definitely, I mean, just from the graphics alone, it's significantly better, in my opinion, than the other ones. And it does take a little getting used to in terms of like the controls themselves, but in general, I feel like it is worth it. And it does take time, but if you have a person or a group of people that you want to run with, and I'm happy to play with you, absolutely.
That would be awesome.
Right? We start a campaign together, but if you have a group of people to figure it out with, then I think it makes it a little bit more easier, but it's so much fun. And the graphics in that game are just absolutely unreal. The cutscenes are to die for, by the way.
It looks gorgeous.
It's such a good game. It's a beautiful game. I'm so obsessed. And we're so close to the end, too, in the one campaign that I'm in.
Oh, my God. And I mean, there's people who put thousands of hours into the game and never get anywhere close to the end.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I think I've got probably close to 200 hours 200 hours in this game.
It is expansive.
Yes, yes.
The game is enormous.
Do you feel like if people haven't played D&D that they will enjoy that game?
I do. I think it's a really good precursor to Dungeons and Dragons, or any kind of tabletop RPG game, TTRPG. Just because it gets you to think about how you're building your characters, for one, but it also teaches you the basic mechanics in terms of like a turn-based game or turn-based combat kind of situation, versus something like, from my experience, Sea of Thieves or, even Elder Scrolls Online, where it's 12 people or however many people all at once trying to kill a boss or ads, right? You're all throwing off all of these skills, and it's such a, graphic-heavy experience that when dialing that back down to something like Baldur's Gate 3, it does give you the chance to kind of understand and explore the mechanics of the game of like an RPG or a TTRPG kind of a game. But it also helps you to really hone in on the different aspects of the game versus just being thrown in the deep end and seeing if you can sink or swim. And I love it, honestly. And like I said, I think it's a good intro to D&D or Pathfinder or something of that kind of a nature. And anybody can really pick it up and play it. I've had friends who have never played D&D before pick up Baldur's Gate 3, and they are just completely enthralled with it, so definitely.
I've played some D&D, but very little D&D in my life, so I think I would be probably minimally prepared for Baldur's Gate.
And that's okay.
Is what I would say.
Yeah, no, and honestly, that's okay. Like, yes, there's a lot of lore behind it and stuff like that, but you pick up on a lot of the lore as you go along anyway. And it's just really understanding, like, okay, why did that happen, right? And you kind of play any game that you're going to be working on with a team, and you're going to ask those kinds of questions. At least I do. I don't know. Maybe I'm a weird gamer, but I'm always asking, like, why did that happen? Why didn't that happen? Oh, wait, I screwed up. Okay, that makes sense,
See, and then I always find myself asking, why did that happen? But it's because I wasn't paying attention to the cutscene an hour ago that explained what was happening.
Yes, me
and
too.
My brain has been zoning out the whole time.
Oh, man. It's such a good game. Highly recommend it. 12 out of 10 stars for sure.
It's funny, the only reason I have not picked up Baldur's Gate is because of people kind of gatekeeping it from a sense of like, oh, like you've never really played that much D&D, like you're not going to understand it, you're going to be so lost. And I'm just like, what?
No. They're lying.
So
They're
I haven't done
lying
that yet, but I want to.
Honestly, pick it up. I highly encourage you to pick it up. It's the game, like I've literally put down ESO and have been playing almost Baldur's Gate exclusively unless I have something like my core team on Friday or an event for my guild in ESO to run or be a part of. I'm not on ESO. I'm in Baldur's Gate currently. So it's just so good. It's so good. I can't stop talking about it.
That's awesome. Now you've done you've been streaming for a while now, and you've done a bunch of like charity events with Extra Life on your Twitch. How have you found those have gone for you, and like what's your involvement been with those, and anything coming up that anybody should know about on that front?
Absolutely. I'm so excited and glad that you brought that up. So yeah, I am in my third year. This will be my third year, and I will be participating in Game Day again, which is in early November again this year. I don't remember the day off the top of my head, but I want to say it's November 3rd. But anywho, so last year I was a co-captain with two other individuals, both of whom I work with, and we ended up, creating a team because there were a number of individuals at my company that are they're gamers, they want to partake, and they were already participating in Extra Life, and we just, said, well, why the hell not just start a group and let's do it, together. Let's raise money together. And so We are raising money for the Boston Children's Hospital, again, here in Boston, in the Boston area. And we basically have a team where we set a goal. Last year's goal was 10,000, and we overshot that up to like 11 and a half, I think. And this year we're bumping up the minimum, or like our baseline, to start at 12,000, hoping we can raise $12,000 this year. And then we will be, if we succeed that, then we'll go to 15. But the team itself consists of about 20 to now 25, 26 people in total. Each individual basically has like their own little support group that they work with, that they play specific games. And from my perspective, or in my case, I will be doing it in Elder Scrolls Online again. And so in ESO, I'm part of a guild called New Moon Rising. And the guild is full of just nothing but amazing people, very positive people. They're always willing to help and give back. And the guild master last year sat up with me throughout the night to make sure that like we were on top of things, that we were constantly moving in game and all that stuff. But basically, for those who don't know what Extra Life is, it's a 24-hour stream of either online gaming, where you could do TTRPGs, like we mentioned, D&D or Pathfinder, etc. You could do pretty much any game as long as you're gaming for 24 hours. And it doesn't have to be consecutive. And it doesn't have to necessarily be on game day, as long as you game for 24 hours during the fundraising period. So, the team's name this year is the same as last year, Hardcore Casuals. And I'm happy to provide the link if you guys want to watch us on Twitch or whatever the case may be, but I will be streaming for 24 hours straight, and my goal this year is probably about $2,000 to raise personally for the team.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
It's exhausting, but it's so much fun. By the end of it, I'm very loopy. I'm very just like out of it.
Well, because I remember last year I was like running tech support for you on this end.
You will be again, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Nudge, nudge.
We'll do that like 48 hours ahead of time to make sure that you're all set to go.
Yes.
Because, go figure, once again, Xbox gaming gives you technical difficulties for like getting a stream up and running. Like this is just, standard operating procedure for us at this point.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, but I really wish that there were more games that were more, cross-platform, that you could join on an Xbox and a PlayStation and a PC and on a Mac and whatever the case may be. But like, it is difficult to be able to game with other individuals who you normally would game with if you could,
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Well, they all zap up their data differently to the internet,
True.
so then it's a matter of like getting the servers to talk to each other. And you, as a web developer, the rest of the time can probably understand the headaches that would go along with such an endeavor.
far more than I would like to admit, but I digress. It's just lots of headaches, and it's frustrating, but I just wish we could play more games together. Essentially, that's my one wish for gaming, is that gaming developers would create more games that are more cross-platform oriented, bring more people together, more positive interactions, more positive environments, bring them all together. That's my one wish in life.
Like, I don't know if Pal World is cross-platform, but I get the sense it might be, considering how popular it is.
It is to a certain degree right now. Like, if you buy your game on Steam, you can't play with other people, but they're fixing that. But if you buy your game elsewhere, you can play together right now.
Oh, okay. But they do intend to make it... Oh,
it is, like, number 3 on their list of things to fix right now.
that's amazing. Like, all credit to Pocket Pair. They are... What's it sold? Like 12 million copies now? It's insane. Game's a phenomenon.
Yeah.
I can't wait to finally open it up.
It is 2024. Like, if you don't have crossplay, I feel like there's a niche.
Oh, I agree. I agree. I just, like, imagine the environments and the groups of people that we could, interact with, more than just having it relegated to a console or an operating system. I would love to be able to have, like I said, more interactions with positive gaming individuals uh, who play on a computer versus a console. Although I do have to say, though, there are a number of individuals that do come from like computers to console and vice versa, and I've heard some pretty gruesome war stories between all those consoles and platforms, and just like trying to get back and having to rebuild your entire, you know, uh, game again, or all your characters, level them all up, and then get back up to whatever level you were,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's just a complete nightmare. So like I understand it, but I do wish more games had like cloud-based gaming applications.
Oh, yeah. And it's weird how there's all these individual walled gardens that are essentially identical to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't make a lot of sense to me that if you're going to have, everybody playing in their own little walled gardens, but they're all the same, why not just do what it takes to open them up to
Right?
each other? I know it's work, but put in the effort.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Because everyone's going to benefit from that in the end.
And gamers will be a lot happier being able to game with their friends no matter what.
Well, it's tough to make gamers happy in general.
You're
but
not wrong.
do what you can.
We needy.
You are so not wrong. I mean, like, there are a ton of different
Not
things
wrong.
that I would love to see, like, in ESO specifically fixed, right? But, you know, PC gamers get different add-ons that I would love to be able to have in ESO. Like, if I'm parsing on a child dummy or something like that, like, I would love to have a more detailed breakdown of what that looks like, what my damage output looks like, versus just getting a little number in the chat box. And I know that anybody who plays ESO on a console can relate to this for fact, because like content creators like Deltia's Gaming or Eat Puppies or Skinny Cheeks, right? They get these detailed readouts that show you like where all of your damage is coming from each piece of gear, from all of your skills and so forth, whereas console gamers, we just get like 113.2 DPS. Like, okay, great, cool. Thanks for telling me my damage per second, but where is it coming from? Where can I improve, you know?
Yeah. How to
Exactly.
Right.
And
You don't get those like accessibility options or even UI mods
Yes.
to be able to see in depth what the hell's going on behind the scenes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate. And I think it would really open up the game for a lot of people to have those things, but, you know, here we are. Here we are.
Here we are.
So,
This episode of Gamers and Hot Tubs Talking Nerd Life is brought to you by us. Gamers, it's February. We know you're already tired of Valentine's Day ads and the month has just begun. But maybe you have a special someone you're still shopping for. Or maybe you just want to get yourself a special treat. Whatever the reason, the Gamers and Hot Tubs Talking Nerd Life merch store has some perfect gifts for Valentine's Day, including a brand new necklace, plushies, and candles. Or pick up our January or February Hot Tub of the Month jigsaw puzzle for your Valentine's date night. Visit beacons.ai/hottubgamers and click the merch button to find the Valentine's gift right for you. There, that wasn't so bad, was it? Now back to the show. Now that interestingly segues us into the next topic, to talk about multiplayer gaming experiences, and how you see gaming as a social activity.
yeah. So, like I said before, in ESO, I'm part of a guild, New Moon Rising. Part of a few guilds, but that's the primary guild, my home guild, so to speak. But it's really an interesting and fun concept with gaming, is that like gaming at the core of it, when you're in an MMO RPG or multiplayer, any kind of a multiplayer game, it brings people together, but it also tears people apart, right? But I like to focus on the bringing people together thing, because that's just me. But it's really interesting and a lot of fun, because you get a lot of unique interests and personalities when you create groups of people like a guild. And in ESO, you can have 400 people per guild. And it's 400 people, yep.
Oh my god. Sea of Thieves guilds, you're limited to 25.
We can have up to...
Wow. Final Fantasy's 512.
400 people in ESO. And trust me, it's interesting. Like, in New Moon Rising, I am...
I'm so jealous.
What's called like an event lead, if that makes any sense, in terms of my guild. I run what's called NMRU, New Moon Rising University, and basically it's just like these little 2 to 3 hour classes, like once or twice every month, that talk through different topics and stuff like that, and you get people who may not have been exposed to those topics, like how to become a master crafter, or how to really... We just taught one, I think it was last weekend. My brain is like blending time together lately, so bear with me. But like, we taught a class last weekend on PvP, player versus player, engagements and stuff like that in specific areas of the game. And there's a lot of questions that come out of that people are kind of afraid to ask, and that they're afraid to approach or whatnot, because they've either been shot down before by other people in the game, or people tell them like, oh, well, you should just know this. You should just, you have a Google machine, or you have a device that you can search the internet for these answers with. Like, instead of putting people down in that respect, what I really love about playing an MMORPG, and especially in this guild, in New Moon Rising, is that we're all so helpful, and we're just chock full of information. And what comes out of that is a lot of positivity and a lot of really great interactions where people walk away feeling like, yeah, that's cool. Like, I'm motivated now. I want to go play the game. I want to ask more questions. I want to, go for those high-end achievements, the perfectas in core teams, the, getting all of my hard mode clears in raids and stuff like that. And how do I parse? What's that look like, And it's really kind of not only liberating, but it's also... It gives you, like, a level of... What's the word I'm looking for? Like, I've helped someone else, and it's a word, and I can't think of the word, and it's driving me nuts. But, like, I've helped someone, and I feel good about that, and I want to do that again. When I started playing ESO, I didn't have someone to walk me through what crafting was, if I could even leave the zone I was in. I spent the first 6 months of my ESO gaming life in the same zone because I had no idea how to move about it. And then I could leave and go to other areas of the game.
Oh, no.
And then I met a group of people, and they taught me how to, like, literally move from one zone of Skyrim to another zone. It was incredible.
Oh. Oh, God.
Yeah, so it's it's a level of creating those connections and giving back, and I've made a lot of really good friends. Some of them were invited to my wedding and were actually there, and it's incredible, sometimes those friends that you make in gaming and in multiplayer games online and stuff like that actually turn out to be some of the best people, positive influences, and then they become family to some degree. It's just rewarding. That's the word I was looking for. It's rewarding. Oh, I love ADHD. Oh.
Which, for a gamer to not remember the word rewarding means...
Well,
I'm not giving you shit.
No,
I'm not giving you shit
it's
for it.
fine.
We all have brain moments.
I'm used to it. You can ask any of my friends still. I mean, you are a friend of mine, and but
Yeah.
It's totally fine. Oh, man.
Yeah, and
It's
like
totally
doing
fine.
that for like your community, whenever you have new people that join your community or join that guild or what have you, like it helps them buy into it more because like you're so willing to help them, guide them, and be a support system for them, which you don't always get in video games. Like World of Warcraft, I wouldn't dream of jumping back into and like experiencing that because I never did in World of Warcraft, but there's a lot of other games that I have, and I mean that's why I created my own free company, and Final Fantasy was to kind of give that to people because I felt like I didn't have support.
Yeah. No, and it's interesting how many people I've come across being part of, the guild, New Moon Rising, and and working with the guild leaders, Lovely Lily, Obi Tuknobi, and Garbo Weasel, and Grumpy Wade when he was still the GM, before he passed it on to Obi. But, just working with these individuals, and we've talked about how many people come into this guild and they just don't know how to, that you can even sell things in a guild trader, or even just working through the menus and setting up like your buffs on your bars and your health bars, and showing all of these different things that are truly game-changing, like, things to do, it enhances your experience in the game, right? They don't know how to do those things because no one takes the time, or they just say, oh, go figure it out, like, go use Google or Bing or whatever search engine you typically use. And when they come back and they're like, oh, can someone help me? They kind of like, they come across a little like shy about it at times. But then at the end, they're so thankful, and they're just like, do you need anything? Can I help you with anything? And I'm like, no, just pay it forward. So if someone else asks that question and you know the answer to it, share it. Yep. That's what this community is about, is sharing the information that gets you into the game and gets you to enjoy the game more than you already are.
Yeah, that's what it all should be about.
I agree.
And with games of that size, there's always something new to learn, too. Like, you...
Yeah, absolutely.
And even you, like, as an, quote, expert on the game, unquote, probably still missing knowledge in plenty of areas. And nobody can ever possibly know everything.
I mean, like, if you think about it, the developers even, right, if there's... Even, I feel like even the developers probably don't know every single aspect of the game, right? And they just don't know, like, okay, well, one developer might focus on crafting, one developer might focus on a card game in the game, or, like, mini games that are part of it, puzzles, or whatever the case may be. But I can't believe that there's one person who knows every single detail about the game. Our brains are just not meant to hold that kind of information.
If you ever want to see, like, how little developers actually know about their games, find, like, interviews or podcasts or whatnot of them where they have to do, like, a trivia game about their games. And, like, at the very best, they give themselves a migraine trying to remember the answer to some of the trivia about their games. But generally, they'll be like, I have no idea. Because it's like, they weren't on that particular design team, or they've never played that piece of content, or, they do narrative, they don't do design, or, like game development has so many moving parts. If every single person on the team knew everything about it, kind of nothing would ever get done. It's sort of like, that bit in The Simpsons where Mr. Burns is at the doctor and they're telling him he has every disease, but like every disease on the planet, but they call it Three Stooges syndrome. So they're all trying to get through the door at once and they can't.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very interesting.
Games have so many moving parts. It is. Yeah. It's super interesting. There's so many moving parts, and there's just so much that, even, on smaller games like I make, there's so many things going on behind the scenes. I don't even know every single thing about it, even though I'm like a solo dev at this point. But if you were to do trivia on my games, I'd be like, I have no idea.
Yeah, and then when you get these massive games that have like a multitude of things to do, right? Imagine like and even a buddy of mine was, who I was gaming with yesterday, his name is the Mono Man. He was telling me about how he was like on Reddit and he was reading articles and he was on other websites and stuff like that, and he's like, the more I read about this game, the more I get like frustrated, because there's articles that say, like, if you don't pick up rock A and then move rock B and then throw rock C to this place, then you miss like all of these little side quests and things like that. Like, there are embedded layers into these games that even the general community would never pick up on because they're so well hidden. They're like, what do we call them? Easter eggs, right? They're little Easter eggs that you don't find them.
Right.
There's always one Easter egg
But Easter eggs generally aren't supposed to be massive chunks of content. They're supposed to just be like little in-jokes or secret areas with a little bit of treasure. But then Baldur's Gate is like, yeah, we're going to have sort of a hidden wall right here. And unless you open this hidden wall with this specific key that you find 6 hours earlier, you're not going to get this whole 50-hour-long quest line.
You're not wrong, because we just did that yesterday.
It's like, what the fuck?
They want people to play that game multiple times,
Oh, yeah.
multiple
Oh, yeah.
playthroughs.
They want people to do things in that game that, as gamers, you wouldn't normally think to do. But as a tabletop gamer, you might.
Right, right.
Because as a tabletop gamer, because it's so open to your imagination, you're more willing to roll the dice, so to speak.
Yeah.
But then Baldur's Gate, all of a sudden, despite being limited by programming and not having that unlimited play space that D&D normally has, they still apparently were able to find ways to open up the world to more imaginative gameplay through the physics systems, through hidden features, and through just like making everything interact with everything else.
Except also in doing so, they made it so that like if you pick up a fork from one place and then put it down somewhere else, it then extends the load time of your game. If you're trying to travel or something to like 4 minutes longer than it originally was, because it has to calculate, right, all of those like possibilities, the millions of possibilities, but of where it could be and all that stuff. Oh yeah, it's a bear. I think that would be probably my biggest gripe.
Well, do you want an optimized experience or do you want a mind-blowing experience?
Exactly. But it's still such a good game. I think that game has like, what, 17, don't quote me on this, like something like 17,000 different endings, different possible endings. It's incredible.
Oh my god.
There was a video, like a movie that was made from all of the cutscenes recently, and I think it was something like, I want to say an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours long, just from the cutscenes, the possible cutscenes. Yeah.
Oh.
Just
the
endings from like quests and interactions and stuff like that to kind of carry you through the main storyline from start to finish. But and I haven't watched it, I'll be honest. I have not watched it, but I'm saving it for when I get through.
I wonder what's considered the canon ending then. Because you know there's always one that's considered the canon ending, and then the rest are like,
yeah,
you know, fake,
right,
essentially.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to kind of see what happens. We're very close in our campaign to getting towards the end of it, and then we're going to confront the Elder Brain, although, oh, sorry, that was a spoiler. Anywho, but we're excited. We're getting there, slowly. A lot of the combats just take, like, because it is turn-based, they can take, like, half hour, 45 minutes or something like that. Some of them are really quick, but... and then there are also times where you want to redo a fight 12 times to make sure that you achieve the goal of the fight that you originally set out to achieve. But it doesn't happen, so you have to redo the fight like 12 times. It's great. It's great.
Oh, God.
It's fun, though. Yep.
That's what save states are for.
Thank goodness.
Oh, so, yeah, I think with that, we can jump ahead to our next topic. Kaylee, you want to take this one?
I do feel like we've kind of touched on this a bit, but maybe this was before we actually got started. But gaming and relaxation. Let's explore the relationship between gaming and relaxation. How do games contribute to stress relief or leisure for you?
It's a couple of different ways, right? In that, like, I enjoy playing games because it keeps my brain active, it keeps my brain, but it also, like, calms my brain down, right? So, like, if I'm sad or something, I know that I can go back to the game or to, you know, the games I typically play and engage with people who are positive. And that, in turn, kind of has, like, a snowball effect, at least for me. I can't speak for anyone else. But it has a snowball effect for me in that, like, if I'm around other happy people or people who are having fun and laughing, then I'm probably going to be more engaged in having fun and laughing, right? And if you think about it, laughter is probably one of our best tools that we could use to aid anxiety, to aid depression, or aid against the fight of anxiety and depression and stress and that kind of a thing, right? Because it releases all these endorphins and just makes you feel good overall. And I really love just like playing with my friends and engaging in laughter and joking around and making jokes that probably should never reach the ears of others. But we're laughing about it 5 days later because it was just so hilarious. And the fact that we can have these conversations and make these jokes and laugh so hard to the point where we're all wheezing and we're trying to catch our breath and we're crying.
Where would our friendship be without dirty jokes?
I was trying to be like so PG about this, but really I should just say that the jokes that we create are so dirty.
Oh, no, our conversations are not meant for
no,
civilized
they are
ears.
not.
They really are not.
I think those are the best friends to have, though. Like, that you can joke around with like that and, yeah, have those moments where you get to laugh and enjoy things together like that nobody else, or maybe the majority, wouldn't enjoy,
Oh my God, you should have heard the conversations we were just having in the Escalade on the way to her wedding. Just to, like, you want to talk about stress relief, like, just trying to make her laugh and keep her nerves calmed. We were like, wow, we cranked that conversation up to 11 just to keep her giggling the whole trip.
That's awesome.
And we're in Massachusetts, so the traffic was bad. I mean, the traffic was really, really bad. So, like, we're back there. We're just trying to keep her giggling and laughing, and her grandmother's up in the front too. So her grandmother's hearing all this just like the worst dirty talk.
It was something about like what?
Hilarious.
Hotel bed sheets. Yep, hotel
bed sheets. I don't even remember the context of that.
Hotel bed sheets. And then we saw I think it was the Wienermobile. Didn't we see the Wienermobile going the highway the other way?
Oh my God, that's amazing.
No, we saw
the Peanutmobile.
We saw the
yes.
Peanutmobile.
Oh my God, that was.
And at the time, so what was funny was at the time our friend had Planters as a client, and so that drives by, and so I look at her and I go, "Was that your car?" She's like, "What the hell are you talking about?" I'm like, the Peanutmobile just drove by. And she's like, "Oh yeah, that's mine."
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing.
That was, yeah. It's if you can't joke like that with your friends, then what are you doing with your friends? Like, that's how I feel. Yeah.
Yeah. Then they're not really friends.
Oh man, but I really do believe that laughter is the best medicine, and for anything really. And even when I'm like having a really down day or something, I know that I can turn on the console, turn on my Xbox, log into a game, and there's always going to be at least one or two people who are going to be like, "Hey, what's up, Mystery? What's up? What are you doing? You want to do something? You want to do dungeons or whatnot?" And then we're, 15, 20 minutes later, we're all dying and because we're laughing so hard, and I'm wheezing because I can't breathe, and I've got tears coming down my face, and that's honestly like those are the moments that I live for. And those are the moments that really get me through, like, just the everyday humdrum sadness and stuff like that I deal with. But I love it, honestly. Sometimes I'll light a candle or some incense or, turn the lights down. I prefer to game, like, in darker environments, but I have some, like, gaming lights and stuff like that, and I'll turn those up maybe a little low. And it's just creating the ambiance and then having those interactions
sets the mood.
Definitely the best for relaxing and just getting through things.
Because I think, like, the majority of society thinks games are toxic and bad and make you dumb, and I feel like if a lot of society that thinks that would actually try them and sit down with their friends and laugh instead of, I don't know, doing really bad drugs or drinking their life away to forget things, it would be 100%. Better medicine for them,
It really would, because games are a form of problem solving, puzzle solving. Like, no matter what, you're working your brain when you're playing a game. Like even facing a boss is like a puzzle of like
there's mechanics.
there's mechanics to it. There's timing. There's strategy. There's all these different elements that go into it that are like that use parts of your brain that you wouldn't generally use otherwise. Or even just a cozy game like Paleo Pines or Stardew. You're like, how do I lay out my farm in the most efficient manner to be able to profit off of, my crops most effectively? Like in Paleo Pines, I've been waiting around for almost a month in game time for my corn to grow because I've got a plot of like 72 squares that's just all corn, and I'm waiting for all that to fruit so I can harvest it and then go sell. I think it was like 300. It's going to end up as like 340 something worth of corn in the end to sell for like 75,000 shells. And, just like doing those min-max kind of emergent puzzles in games and making new kinds of challenges for yourself. And then that's not saying, say anything about user-generated content as well. Making your own puzzles for friends or levels or mods or customizing your characters and whatnot. Like, games have so many elements to them that can work players' brains in very unexpected ways, and they definitely don't get enough positive credit for those kinds of elements, I would say.
Yeah. And you touched on something very interesting that I would like to expand on, is that, like, when you're in these games and you're playing these games, the skills that you have in real life often do come into playing the games, right? And thinking about it logically. Now, for example, like if you're walking out in the real world, right, and you're paying attention to your surroundings, how many different points of interest or interaction or things do you pay attention to as you're walking down a street, right? It's the same thing in an open world game where you can be literally walking in open world through a field or whatnot, but maybe there's a house on one side of the horizon. Maybe there are some, resource nodes, whether it's a plant or alchemy ingredients or whatever the case may be, to your right, and then you have like animals or, bad guys, ads or bosses behind you off to your left, right? Your perception in the game and how you think and perceive the game, all of that comes and gets translated from your real world experiences. Even buying and selling things in a game, or like you said, growing things in the game, building things, buildings. It's really how you choose to bring those skill sets into the game that really makes the difference overall. And the one thing that I just keep thinking about as I'm talking through all of this and as we're talking through this topic, I keep thinking about this video of this older gentleman. I think he goes by like Grandpa Gaming or something like that. I've seen him on Instagram quite a bit, and he has these videos where he is a sniper in a first-person shooting game, and he's just using skills that he obtained when he was in the active in the military years and years and years and years ago, to play these games, and everybody is just like shell-shocked, pardon my pun, shell-shocked by how well he's, maneuvering in the game and how well he's using these tools and these instruments to achieve what he's trying to achieve. And he's a really good shot, I'll say that. He's made some shots that I'm just like, how in the hell was that possible? But that just goes to prove that, like, anyone at any age, any gender, any mindset can really pick up a game and play it. It's just how you choose to play it. Do you choose to use that time as like a release, a relaxation method? Do you choose it to get amped and to, get those achievements and achieve your goals in the game? Or, like, really at the end of the day is how you want to play the game that's important.
Well said.
That's very well said.
Thanks.
I have absolutely nothing to add to that. Like,
yeah, I talk a lot. Sorry.
No.
That's totally fine because we get a little more time to fill.
So what's next?
Well, the final topic is supposed to be who is a friend or creator you'd like to hype up, but
I
you've hyped
know.
up like
I'm
12
sorry.
of them so far. But, so knowing that, I guess we'll go to a tangential topic and uh, basically be like, what's next for the streaming side of things? Like, where do you see that going? What are your goals? What would you like to do with it?
Yeah.
Like, are you keeping it casual and just not caring about how many viewers you got, or are you hoping this year to like pull in some sponsorships or get thousands of people watching at once? Like,
Yeah, I
what do
think
you
right
want to do with
now
it?
I'm probably leaning more towards the casual side of it. But in the next few months, I can tell you that I do plan on ramping up my my streaming and streaming more frequently and all of that stuff. I'll be honest, streaming kind of took a bit of a backseat for a little while there, only because, first of all, the holidays are very difficult, and I've had a lot of I've had a lot of not great life experiences as of late, probably the last like 6 months or so. So I've kind of put streaming on hold and on the back burner, but I do want to ramp it up ahead of November and, the Extra Life game day. But I enjoy streaming. I do. It is a lot of work, but it's fun. And you can do things like you choose what you want to do, right? You get to choose how you want to play. And if people don't like what you're doing, tough shit. They can go somewhere else, right? If they don't like your content, okay, fine. It's not going to be for everybody, but at the end of the day, as long as I'm having fun and as long as my viewers are having fun, then that's what matters most. I'm blessed that my friends and my guild will hop onto my stream whenever I do stream, even if I'm, working through or working on the prog group on Fridays, from 7 to 9, or if I'm just, streaming casually or whatever the case may be. They are there, they're supportive, and it's really nice to know that I have, that level of support. Do I want to grow it? Absolutely. Absolutely. But the other part of it, like you mentioned earlier, is time. It's always about the time.
Yeah.
And I want to get through some personal stuff first before I really start like ramping it up.
And I feel like life always throws us like curveballs. Like you're so ready to do this and you're so ready to amp up how much you've been doing and focus on it. And then, I don't know, something stupid will happen and then you just can't. And it's okay. And I feel like in our like industry world, whatever you want to call it, if you build the right community and like you're saying, like as long as my chat is having fun and the people that are hanging out with me are having fun, then I don't care. Like, then you should have people that are understanding and will always be there when you come back and you can't amp everything.
And I'm like I said, I'm blessed that my guildmates are, popping into my streams, and Danny, even you pop into my streams every now and then, and it's just nice to know that you've got like someone in your corner who does support you. And I think without that support, without like, I don't care if people don't watch my stream. Right? If they do, awesome. Hell yeah. Let's go. But if I'm just streaming and it's to an empty room, that's okay too. That's alright too, because people can go back. They can watch your streams and they can interact with it during that time, right? And if they're still enjoying it, and I'd like to, make sure that whatever content I'm creating is funny, even if it's me being a nutball or, crazy person, that's fine. If I'm cracking jokes, if I'm making people laugh, then I'm doing my job. If I'm not, then something's wrong and I need to adjust. But yeah, that's a rant. That's a rant.
Are you looking into anything like Twitch's Partner Plus program, which is available
I did not know
apparently
that.
for affiliates as well? They're like... And like the split is apparently now like 70-30 for that. And like, are you looking to anything on those sides? Like, like any kind of growth endeavors that you want to undertake, or like you said, just make it like if nobody shows up, then that's fine. If a bunch of people show up, then that's fine too. Like,
Yeah, I think I need to do a little bit more research into the programs, but I am currently a Twitch affiliate, and I am, working on garnering my following and stuff like that. It's just slow right now, right? Like I said, it's working through it. I don't remember off the top of my head how many followers I have. I know it's over 50. I think it's probably close to 75. Oh!
are you? I just looked.
Damn.
You have 106.
I was gonna say, I think you're over 100.
That's a happy surprise.
Yeah. So like you have a solid
I'm
following
surprised
on
by that
Twitch,
myself.
I would say. So ain't nothing wrong there.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I can make that to 200. Maybe that's a goal I set right now here during the podcast, By the end of 2024, I, somehow obtain 200 followers. I would be perfectly fine with that.
I mean, you could always like multi-stream to YouTube or Kick or anything else with that, and then like you just sort of combine the followings together.
That's also true. I don't know much about Kick, but I'll have to check it out. Or YouTube.
Happy to help if you need anything.
Duly noted. And be careful what you offer.
We're very happy to help
I
with
might be
Kick.
asking you a ton of questions.
That's totally fine. Just like what we were talking about before. Like I love helping people, and like, just because I built a community like that in Final Fantasy doesn't mean that I can't do that streaming too. So helping other streamers, I am super happy to do. And I actually stream to Kick and YouTube.
Oh, nice.
So
Okay.
I can help. Yeah, I used to play Elder Scrolls Online. I actually have a t-shirt that you probably can't find
Oh my
anymore.
gosh. Love that.
But it's been a really long time. I played before they had veteran ranks, and then I played a little bit after they had the veteran ranks, and then I was very, very confused. And probably last year I downloaded it again and tried to play, and I didn't even know how to open up my hotbars. So it's been a while.
it's definitely, the game has changed so much, especially over the last year or two, and they've introduced so many new things, and now there's champion trees, and they're actually releasing a new chapter, and with that chapter, I think it's called the Gold Road, they are releasing a brand new aspect to the game called scribing, where you can craft your own spells and modify them to better suit your needs, which is really cool. Yeah, so you're literally
That sounds dangerous.
It is, yeah, right? It does sound dangerous. But I'm very excited to give it a shot.
Spells as UGC.
I'm sorry?
Spells as UGC, as user-generated content. That
Right?
sounds very
Yeah.
risky.
But I'm excited for when when it finally, I don't think it's on the PTS yet, but I'm excited for when it will be, so I can give it a shot and try it out, and give it a go. But there's so much to this game now, Kaylee, that is just, it's incredible. It really is. And it's a lot of fun. There's something for everyone, whether it's housing or crafting or, perfecta achievements and getting all the, literally clearing all of the quests and achievements in the game. I know quite a few people who have worked on that, so it's a lot.
Well, it's really cool to hear, because it doesn't seem like, looking at it from what I remember, back in the day when I first started, it's so different now, and I'm glad to hear that the community is thriving and there's actually exciting things to do.
Yeah, there's also been a lot of people coming back to the game over the last I would say probably 6 to 8 months. And it's newer players mostly, right? And unfortunately there are decisions that Bethesda and ZOS made about the game that kind of pushed end game players like myself and whatnot out away from the game. But they are starting to slowly come back, which is also kind of nice, They introduced a brand new, quote-unquote, endless dungeon is what they called it. It's called Endless Archive, where you get, phases of the dungeon, and they call them arcs, where you have to, complete so many arcs before you get certain achievements, and I've heard a couple of people on my team, my prog team on Fridays, talk about how they are trying to reach like Arc 15. I'm like, Arc 15? I haven't even gotten past the first 3. Like, how are these people getting through that so much? It's just, it takes a lot of time and dedication, but there's something in that game for everyone. There really is. That's why I keep going back.
Which is what they all hope for.
So this has been just a really, really fun conversation. And before we close this out, I want to ask you one last question that we ask to all our guests. What is your quest?
What is my quest? Oh, man. I think my quest is probably to continue to enjoy gaming and continuing to build and give back to my community, my gaming community, or communities, I should say, and to continue to keep laughing and to provide laughter for others, and to continue to help them. I'm very much, if you haven't gathered by this entire conversation where I've mentioned, like, I just want to help people. Just let me help you, right? Like, that's at the end of the day, that's my goal, is to make sure that everybody else is having fun too. And whether that's me being a goofball or I don't know, just hanging out and laughing and cracking jokes, I'm totally all about that. But to continue to thrive in that environment and to give back and make sure that others are, enjoying the game or games that we're playing and that they're having fun, I think that's my ultimate quest.
I love that. That's a good quest. It's a really good quest.
That's a fantastic one. That's one that will never end, but it is one that is worth persevering on.
Wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah, no, I feel like the world would be a better place if more people were like that. So, thank you for doing that as your quest.
And thank you for making the world a better place.
Now you guys are gonna make me cry.
No cry.
No cry.
No cry.
Only happy tears.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'll laugh. Yes.
Laugh is good. Laugh is very, very good. Cool. Well, I think we can close it out here then. Again, sorry we didn't get to do this one live, but hopefully we can bring you back on at some point in the nearest future and try again.
That. Absolutely.
That would be awesome. And hopefully we'll have more options where if we ever run into this issue again, we have a different option.
Yeah, and again, I tried so hard to make it work.
We all tried. Yeah. We spent 2 hours trying to make it work, and technology
hates me.
Yeah, I was going to say, for those that are listening that didn't get to enjoy us having all these conversations beforehand, we just had trouble getting her into GTA with us today. So,
but you know what? We still got over an hour out of this one.
Yeah.
So we bueno.
We bueno.
Yeah, we are bueno. Oh, thank you so much for spending your morning with us. Krista, I really appreciate it, and it's been fun to get to know you.
Thank you for having me. It's honestly an honor, and I really appreciate you allowing me to talk so freely about gaming and about the community and what it means to me and how incredibly positive I would love gaming to be. So thank you.
That's all we're trying to do here is spread positivity, mental health awareness with this podcast.
Keep going.
You're like the epitome of that.
Keep doing it.
And there's nothing better for mental health than laughter.
I love
there
it.
Really
I love it.
Well, so on behalf of myself and Kaylee and Krista, thank you for listening and have a wonderful day.
Thanks.
Yeah. Have a good one, guys.
See ya.
You've been listening to Gamers in Hot Tubs Talking Nerd Life, part of the Hot Tub Gamers Network. To support the show, or to be a guest on an upcoming episode, please visit our Beacons page at beacons.ai/hottubgamers or follow us on all social medias at hottubgamers. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review, especially if you enjoyed your time with us in the hot tub. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you soon.